Mr. Shamley, at last. I trust your day has been stimulating and enlightening?
In its own disgusting way, yes. Let's say I found out certain things.
Like?
You forced your sister into a fake suicide and exile.
Oh, this is quite unfair. Constance's talk about my threatening Alicia's life was self-serving nonsense. The truth is, after her husband's death, Constance could no longer stand her child. She blackmailed me into organizing her disappearance and financing her new life, which didn't come out cheap.
You killed your mother.
Oh, not really. But anyway, she was an old, rambling woman who had lost all sense of dignity and spoiled everybody's life. Her death was a relief to everybody, including her.
You murdered your brother-in-law.
I admit that much. But Walter was a selfish Philistine. Do you think he cared for the Andia patients? Not in the least. He was just madly jealous Andia was MJI's triumph, not his.
Andia is a slow poison, and you've known it since 1982.
You speak like Walter. Same arrogant righteousness. What do you think diabetes is if not a poison? Had they been told of potential long-term risks, the patients would still have been ready to kill to get Andia.
You lied, cheated, and hid the truth.
Oh! Since when does it help to say the truth?
Andia is your private gold mine. Who's self-serving now?
I'd have made 10 times more if Andia had been declared an illegal substance. An underground traffic would have developed. I'd be as rich as a cocaine baron.
The film shoot was a charade to eliminate the crew members.
Oh, it was more than that. It was entertainment, an entomologist's delight. You bring 8 bloodthirsty ants together, you snap your fingers, and they hurl at each other's throat. These nobodies thought they were a threat to me. Now, they're history.
Were you responsible for my parents' accident?
Oh, responsibility is a very complex concept. What did you feel when your parents died? Tell me the truth. No sentimental cliches.
A sense of justice. They'd left me alone at home. I thought their death would teach them a lesson.
So if I told you I caused your parents' death, you'd be grateful to me?
Is that why you hired me?
Jean Renoir, another French director, used to say, everybody has their reasons. Do you understand mine, Mr. Shamley? Look at our friends, happily reunited, thanks to you. Note also that we can accommodate 4 more guests for a perfectly comfortable last sleep. What do you think?
Sick, distasteful, and morbid.
Oh, it's a matter of perspective, I guess. But you'll probably love what comes next. It's a little game called One's Down, One's Standing. Guess who the winner is? Yes. Blank. I win. Thank you, Shamley. You've been a perfect puppet. Now, enjoy the film.
And now, Jack, Alicia, the film? What kind of rotten mess is this?
Copy of a letter from Robert to Constance, dated June 5th, 1980. Dear sister, whatever your esteemed husband may say, it is totally out of the question that you go to the police and confess any kind of liability for the accidental death of these two shamly nobodies. If Walter's conscience bothers him that much, I suggest that he gives himself in and takes the blame and the fall for the whole thing. After all, it was his idea that you take the car while I was attending Alfred Hitchcock's memorial mass. On a more practical note, be reassured that I spoke to the hotel valet parking attendant, and if asked, he will testify that the car spent the whole day in the hotel parking, and that it already needed a little bodywork when we arrived on May 1st. Let your brother take care of these details. I shall not let some shamlies spoil even one of your nights. Sleep well, little sister. Robert.
Dear Robert, I must admit that your suggestion, though undoubtedly ingenious, has troubled me greatly. You asked for my legal advice. After a comprehensive review of the issue, I believe that your position could not be challenged legally. The process which led to the registration of Gamma-5 and its approval by the Food and Drug Administration was totally separate from the ANDIA registration and approval process, even though both products share the same core molecules. Therefore, a legal process leading to ANDIA prohibition would have no impact on MJI's right to market Gamma-5 and/or include it in some of its products. Only a specific process against Gamma-5 could lead to its prohibition. Nevertheless, from a moral and personal standpoint, I strongly advise you to rethink your original idea over and to not put it into practice. Yours sincerely, Donald Bariff.
For years, against all medical evidence, I, Robert O. Marvin Jordan, have preferred to believe that my beloved niece Alicia Slezak was insane. Her recent murder attempts against me and her Machiavellian plots to enlist the assistance of Joseph Shamley, a greedy and pathetic private detective, to achieve her criminal goal, have forced me to acknowledge that I was wrong. Nevertheless, my love for Alicia has in no way diminished, and I am fully convinced that she can be cared for and brought back to reason. To that end, in accordance with the attached medical certificate which declares her a non-responsible person, I hereby designate Dr. Russell Murchison tutor to my niece Alicia Slezak. Even if worst comes to worst, and she is to spend the rest of her days in a cuckoo's nest, I believe that she will find peace and happiness. After all, she loves birds. Robert O. Marvin Jordan.
Hi again. I went to visit my uncle. I didn't find him well.
You forced me to kill him.
Whatever, I don't care. I don't mind you doing the dirty work. What I mind is you rummaging into our petty family secrets.
They're not all petty, and it looks like we share some.
What do you mean?
I think you better have a brandy.
That's a little much, isn't it? My mother provoked the death of your parents, faked her suicide, and was killed hours ago by Jack? I don't believe it.
It's true, though. Your uncle's last wish was to have us both interned. You in an asylum, and me in a jailhouse.
That I can believe. Destroy the addendum to his will.
With pleasure.
What now?
I'm afraid your uncle's legacy includes a few more time bombs.
Like?
I think he really shot a film and hid it somewhere near. Let's look for that hidden room.